These Ipswich Town players are defying the odds.
Hello and welcome back to another TWTV where you join me, Jim Cooper, outside the Billy Wright stand Molineux for another video verdict. And I'm joined by two writers from the world's most popular Ipswich Town website, TWTV.
Obviously.
Phil Ham and Kallum Brisset. Great to have you here, guys.
Good to see you, yes.
And it's,
after a victory.
Yeah, I know. We should be calling the freezing video verdicts because it's bloody cold
it's
again, isn't
that
it?
Time of the year.
I can reveal that Phil wears special insoles that heat his boots up, so he's done this before.
Bad circulation.
But let's get into it because we've got a great game to talk about. It is our 16th show and therefore Town's 16th game. And we finally got a second win in a really cracking game. And in fact, Kallum, if we start with you actually, for me, we were I wouldn't say we were comfortable, but we were really doing well in the game until they scored, and then we were really under the cosh. But I thought fantastic to come back with that energy. Give us your key moments and a sort of overview of the game, please.
Yeah, I thought quite similar to what you said. To be honest, I thought we were, like you say, not comfortable, but we had control of it. We had Wolves where we wanted them in that second half. They'd only had one shot in the whole second half up until the goal, and then when the goal came, obviously it was a sucker punch, but it felt like with the atmosphere in the stadium, if any team was going to go on and win it, it would have been them. So to go and get the goal in the way we did was obviously very dramatic. Excellent moment for Jack Taylor, excellent moment for the whole squad. The bedlam in that away end. But up until that point, up until the Wolves goal, like I say, I thought it was quite decent performance. The first goal was, well, it was a comedy show from them to be honest.
Yeah.
But Liam Delap himself does the hard work to earn it.
Yeah.
They missed a couple of big opportunities, but we missed a big opportunity at 1-0. Liam Delap, if he makes any reasonable contact that isn't off his knee,
I was going to say if it had been chest, head, whatever, and that would have been a big moment.
He doesn't miss from 2 yards.
I think.
But the way the game ended up, it was obviously very delightful.
Yeah. Well, very good. I think if they come over to you to give your overview as well. We had those. We did carve out other chances as well. We had the Burns chance, which was good, and then Burns crossed well, as you said, for the Delap, bounced off his knee. But they had some really good chances. They have about 3 or 4 which were really good. What was your overview of the game, please?
Yeah,
What did you put in the match report?
I think we started well. I think the first couple of minutes it took a little bit of time to get going, didn't it? But I thought we were getting on top when we scored. I don't think there'd really been many chances. There's been a couple of crosses, hasn't there? They got sort of flown across the box. Delap, fantastic. The Gary O'Neill said in his post-match press conference he'd seen Liam Delap do things like that when he was playing in the under-18s against sort of younger players, and he said he shouldn't be doing that against my defenders, and he won't do that against any other defence in this division. He did fantastically well. I think the defender got a little toe on it, otherwise it would have ended up at Omari's feet and he would have had an easier job. But as it was, we were just saying, actually, I was saying to the person sat next to me that we could do with that little bit of luck, something going in our favour, an own goal or a goalkeeper's mistake or something like that, and then that happened, which obviously was an own goal with an own assist, which is quite rare. And then they got back on top of it, didn't they? But and they had 2 chances, I think, in the first half that they probably should have taken. But they didn't, and perhaps that's why they are where they are, lacking a bit of confidence in front of goal, despite the fact they've got goal scorers who really should be and are scoring goals. Really, it's more the fact that they're conceding so many at the other end, and
because they were good chances, weren't they? And you could see the frustration of the home crowd.
Yeah. And then the second half, we came out in the second half, and I thought we kind of controlled the game pretty much. Really, second half, and as Kallum said, they hadn't really had many chances until I think they started to get on top, though. I think they started to kind of... There'd been a bit of booing, hadn't there? And we had this sort of mix of their crowd getting behind them when they were sort of in a decent position. But then if someone was offside or a shot went wide, there was booing. So it was a kind of very mixed sort of reaction from their fans. Then they scored the goal. Then, of course, and as Kieran said, that when they get on terms, then all that flips and you just get the momentum of the crowd and the momentum of the game is with them. And Town had to hold out for 10, 15 minutes. Really had to hold out until it went to injury. Literally, as it went to injury time, the game sort of flipped on its head again. Suddenly, Town found this renewed energy and had one or two opportunities. And then finally...
I mean, I think that's one of my big takeaways, as I mentioned at the start. It was so heartening that we found that third wave, that second wave. I wasn't expecting it, but we found the energy. And I think we'll talk about... Actually, we'll go into the players in a moment. I mean, you've both been to Molineux before. I've not been. I think it's a great ground. I think it's a really good football ground.
It's another one of those proper football stadiums, isn't it?
Exactly. It's got the four stands, but when they got going, didn't they? The noise they created was really quite something. But it just flipped back, didn't it?
It did.
They are very fickle at the moment. And actually...
rightly so. You know, they're not in a good place.
No.
On and off the pitch, to be honest.
It's going to be very interesting to see what happens, O'Neill, today.
Yeah, well, I thought that really played into our advantage. With such a volatile crowd, I thought the first goal was going to be crucial.
Absolutely.
And us getting the first goal really turned the crowd.
I think they were demoralised at half time. There was booing, and it was going in at half time at 0-0 was key.
1-0.
1-0. Could we go through the lineup and the changes, please? And then we'll all sort of go through what we thought about some of the performers.
Yeah, 3 changes. So Harry Clark came in at right back for Ben Johnson, and I thought possibly Harry Clark's best performance of the season.
Yes.
I thought he was pretty decent.
Yeah.
Full credit to him. Wes Burns came on the right. He obviously put in the cross for Delap's big opportunity. He had a big opportunity himself. Again, I thought he was okay. No huge complaints from me.
Yeah.
And the other change was Jens Kallum coming back into the side, and for me, probably Edge's man of the match again. I thought he was excellent. The amount of times that, you know, when we've seen in kind of League One in the Championship, when Sam Morsey kind of picks up the ball and is able to turn away and get that yard of space, it feels like Kallum has that ability to do it in the Premier League. I'm thinking about in the first half that when he broke the lines and went through in the centre, and it just lifted the crowd, and it not confused them, but it really it broke their structure, didn't it? And it was so hard. I'd like to see more of that. Keep going. Just more on Kallum really. It's just a shame that he's got this kind of nagging knee problem. We can't really get 90 minutes out of him, or back-to-back games in quick succession, that sort of thing. If that can be managed and that can be built up, then he's showing all the signs that he can go on and be a huge success. Let's pick out some other performers. I actually thought Muric with his feet, his short distribution was miles better this week, wasn't it? I felt much more confident. But do you think he was at fault for their goal? To be honest, I've only seen it once, so I'd need to see it again. I think maybe it was a Clark. That's where Harry Clark's had a bit of a wobble in that break build up to that. Would you say? Yeah, possibly. It kind of came down that side, didn't it, with Ait-Nouri and then Cunha with the finish. Possibly, like I say, I need to see it again. To be honest, it was near post. And sorry, just before, who was your man of the match? Who would you? Kallum. Over to you, Phil. Who were the performers for you, and who was your man of the match?
I'd say with the goal. It's one of those ones I think where you quite often see it on TV that a goalkeeper will be singled out by all the kind of ex-outfield players. And they say, he's been beaten at his near post and all this kind of stuff. But goalkeepers then say, well, where should he be? If he's too close to his post, then it makes the other side very open. But I don't know. Maybe he should have. Maybe he should have said. I've seen it a couple of times, but it's not from a good angle.
I think I think it was a very good. It was a good shot, well taken. I think the problem came on our right. I think there was some issues between Clark and Burns. That's where the problem came. And as we've talked about, tens of times now, mistakes get immediately punished. Let's pick out some more. So Hutchinson was probably be up there for close for man of the match. Well, he was excellent, wasn't he?
I think there's a lot of players. I mean, you can look through the squad really today, and I think that there was I think Delap, obviously the first goal. I think that was that showed all his attributes, and I think he gave their back line a tough time all game. Hutchinson, as you say, Kallum, Morsey, I thought, did well. The centre halves again. I think,
Burgess, that one tackle.
Yeah, superb.
Burgess's form at the moment is just unbelievable.
Yeah,
I mean, he was
just
just
the
goal
timing.
saving again. I mean, he's doing that every week now. Really heartening, and a shade. It's a nice partnership, as you've talked about before, Kallum. It's really maturing now. It's something that's good. And I liked. Obviously, Jack Taylor, the scenes, guys, there's some videos already out there. When he came over, ripped his shirt off for the yellow and then jumped into the crowd. It was just bedlam. Just complete strangers hugging each other all over the place. It was fantastic.
It was a superb moment, and superb to get a last-gasp winner, having had last week.
Exactly. The kick in the teeth ourselves, and we're giving that back to them, and this will be a massive blow for them. It's going to be huge. Let's talk about Jack Clark, because, I thought the corner was excellent. That's what he's there for. Let's talk about. He was pretty good when he came on. I know he still looks sometimes a bit lightweight, doesn't he? That's the only thing I'd say.
I think him and Ali both caused problems when they came on. And and it was that kind of sort of direct running laterally, which I think obviously won us the corner that won us the game ultimately. So you have and it was a really terrific corner. And Kieran said that in his presser that it's not so much a sort of thing you've worked on the training field in that circumstance. You just get it in there and people do their jobs. And in Wolves' case, they didn't do their jobs. Their manager was.
I've got to say he was quite free. He pulled away, but he was free for it. And we're not. How many is that our third? How many goals have we got from corners? It's pretty limited. I can't think. Set pieces has not been a good thing for us so far.
The first contact, I think, is that Kieran described it.
Possibly.
Yeah.
But I think the goal last week was a second. I can't even remember it now off the top of my head, but I think that was via a set piece, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe there have been goals recently, but it's the first direct.
Yeah, and we'll need to start. We'll need to start generating more goals.
And we've been dangerous, haven't we? I thought at Forest we were particularly dangerous, and we probably should have got a goal.
That's right.
There for a set piece.
Anything on shape, Kallum? Did you feel like Harry Clark was coming into a 3 almost at times? He seemed to be coming quite central. Or was it a 4?
I think it looked like a 4 on paper, and I think for the most part it was. Possibly became a 3 when Ben Johnson came on in the second half.
Yes.
That was at 1-0. I think it was at 1-0.
Yeah.
So shape shift for that purpose. But we've said before, the system's very fluid. You can move between both of them quite easily. So
and I thought the other system, Amari on the left, it worked, didn't it? He was doing well. I think he was a real handful for them today. They didn't know how to deal with him at times. I thought, which is just a testament to him.
Half the time he was popping up on the right.
Yes,
I think they were swapping
yeah.
around quite a lot, to be fair, which could have caught them off guard and would have been part of the plan, I suspect.
Kieran commented on that. He said that Amari played left side in the game against Wolves last year, and that was something that he kind of looked at today. But he said he wasn't really playing as an out-and-out left-sided 10. He was kind of drifting in the middle and giving them problems here and there. But yes, he did very well again. By the way, I've just remembered that the goal last week was from a long throw, wasn't it? It was a long throw and it sort of bounced around and then was cut back to.
It was yeah. I mean,
so that counts as a set piece.
Anything else in the press conference before we start to close out?
Yeah, Jack Taylor. He's talking about Jack Taylor, and Jack Taylor kind of said to him, "You should put me more in the box for corners, set pieces, because he is quite good in the air." I think the game for Ireland recently, it might even been his debut for Ireland. He came very close to scoring in that. It was a terrific save from the. I can't think of who they were playing, but the opposition keeper made a really, really good save in that game. And he had a lot of praise for Jack Taylor, and that he was unfortunate to be left out. But obviously Jens Kajust has been playing so well that. But yes, and Kieran said he didn't see any of the incident at the end, which obviously. Yeah,
well, let's close out with that. So it looks like Delap got a yellow card in that fracas, and he's going to be out for the Newcastle game. So that's a huge blow. Just seeing how pivotal Delap was today, Kallum. That's going to be a blow for us. What a shame. I didn't see the incident. Did you see much?
No, I saw stuff was going on, but it was kind of between the screen and. Yeah. I was frantically trying to rewrite the top line of the report. I didn't hugely see all of it. But if he has been booked, which it sounds like he has, and misses next week, then it's obviously a huge blow, because it's not just the goals. Obviously, he hasn't scored in 5 games now. But it's not just the goals. It's his overall play. I mean, the first goal today, the own goal, is created all through him.
It's insane.
Nobody else in our squad
can do that.
I watched it back actually, and it's a fantastic pick. He gives the outlook because you can go long to him, he controls it, he brings it in. It was fantastic, some great stuff. So let's start to close out by going to our favourite segment where we go across to the TWTV forum and look at sort of 3 keywords from today. And guys, as always, start to think about yours, get the grey cells going. So elation, frustration, limbs, which I quite like, because Hugo Agogo, I have to say that sums up where I was in the stand. It was absolute elation with the first goal, and then I just thought we weren't coming back and I actually thought, as you said, Kallum, they were the likely, Wolves more likely. That was the frustration bit, and then limbs at the end, and it was absolute limbs. Strangers hugging each other, people falling over rows. It was great. A massive few from our regular Riori, and it's a massive relief. And I didn't believe, to be honest, I lost the faith for a moment. Jack in the box. I think that's cheating, but anyway, there's a hyphen between Jack in the box, and that's what it was. It was his moment, and it's obviously first Premier League goal, a huge moment for him in his career.
Yeah, he was delighted. Obviously, he's sprinted off when mentioning the celebration. Spoke to him afterwards. He was
great.
Already looking forward to getting on the bus and calling his family and things like that. So,
and who cares about those yellow cards? We don't mind getting those. That was from Suffolk Punch Drunk. I love these names from the forum. Never leave early from Plums. We should all know that. There were really no one leaving the away end, to be honest. We stayed positive, which is what we talked about earlier, isn't it? From Cafe Newman. And that's it. I mean, that's what I really like. The fact we as you said, it wasn't just that one attack to get to the corner. There was a couple before that, wasn't it? So we kept going. And then double figure points from Hoppy. You know, we're up into double figures. So,
Is it 12 now?
Yeah, it is. That's right. Yeah, absolutely. What would be your 3, Kallum? Give it to us.
Throw me on the spot here a little bit. Well, set piece goal.
Yeah,
because it's about time for one of those, because Cameron Burgess in particular has come quite close in the last few weeks.
And there was a few Greaves and O'Shea's along the way. You want to become like Arsenal, Callum, and have like loads of kind of
not drawing 0-0 with Everton.
I know, we're going to come on to that. Yeah, horrendous. What about you, Phil? Put you on the spot as well.
Rare Molineux win, because I think we won 1 in 17 before today, so 2 in 18. Last time we won here, a very delighted Mick was celebrating a 2-0 victory.
I bet he was.
6-7 months after he'd been fired by Wolves. So that was quite a day. And today, huge day.
It's a huge day. It's a huge day, and we'll close out by talking about what this means. But let's look around the Survival League. Callum, you mentioned there, Arsenal 0, Everton 0. Arsenal, what are you doing? It's letting us down. So not good. I mean, that's a very surprising result. And then good for us, Newcastle 4, Leicester 0. So hopefully the rude honeymoon period will soon falter, and they'll be joining us further down. Tomorrow, Sunday, we've got Brighton Palace, so a derby game. I think you put that in your match report, didn't you? Derby game, tough for Palace, I think. And then Southampton are at home to Spurs, and then we've got Bournemouth West Ham, and we'll sort of throw West Ham in there because you never know what might happen. In terms of league position, we're now 18th, played 16th, 1-2. That sounds a lot better, doesn't it? Drawn 6, lost 8, so we're sort of 8 and 8 in terms of something. Exactly, 12 points, one point behind Palace. So let's hope they do slip up down the South Coast.
That's a much healthier position to be in. Once it gets to 4, then obviously if Palace had won tomorrow, and then it would have been that would have been sort of 7, which starts to look kind of worrying, doesn't it?
Yeah,
now
absolutely.
It's down to 1, and
bit of pressure on Palace.
A bit of pressure on Palace, and it just means that kind of it's about staying competitive, staying in there, and then Kieran talked in his presser about kind of making progress, and I think we're making progress. And he was asked whether he was optimistic for the second half of the season, and he said he was, and I don't see any reason why he shouldn't be.
Well, that's good to hear, isn't it? And I think we've got January as well. I think we've talked before about what the positions will be: centre forward, back up, more on the right. Interesting to see if they do anything in the full back on the right as well. But Kallum, to close out, so how are you feeling? We've got a tough run coming up. This is a big boost.
Feeling much better than I was at 10 to 5. I mean, it's a huge 3 points.
It's huge, yeah.
If we didn't win here today, you're looking at the table, you're looking at the upcoming fixtures and thinking, where are the results going to come from? To win here today not only is a huge confidence boost, but to get us to that 12-point mark, to put a 3-point gap between ourselves and Wolves, who themselves are clearly in a difficult place.
And they're getting pushed, that pushes away, as you say, it's important.
I think that last-minute goal, I mean, who knows? how we'll be talking about that goal come May.
Yeah.
You know, it could be hugely important.
Well, let's finish there. So we look ahead when we've got a tough run of games coming up. We start with Newcastle at home next week, and we'll be back for another video verdict and hoping for the first home win. But thanks so much for joining us, and please like and subscribe.